Manchester United, a big win for them on the road yesterday. They beat Spurs 3-1. One man who impressed was Edinson Cavani. Scored the second goal of the afternoon with a brilliant header. Could have had another one as well if it wasn't for that disallowed goal that he opened up the scoring with. Troy, let's talk about how impressive he is, because at the age that he is at the moment and the things that he can still do, it's just amazing.
Yeah, but look at his pedigree. People act like when they signed him, he was like over the hill, he was finished. He's a good player, but not good. He's a great striker because his movement is one of the last things that will go. He's not rapid, but he's up at his head. He's very smart. And I said it when he first signed. I thought it was a great signing. I did also say it'd be the end of Igalo because there was no need for him there, and obviously that's come to pass. And I just think he would be a perfect stopgap for another year or two, because I don't think they're going to go out and get a Haaland. He's very expensive. Kane is very expensive, and he's still got Martial there as well. So unless they could move one or two, I don't see how they're going to go and get a huge striker.
We talk about his movement, Cavani's movement, and you talk about his brain and what he sees. What makes him so special in that role and to be able to do the things he does? It's
in a confined space. So if you look for the goal where Pogba's laid it down the side, it's only a 6-7 yard space he's got between him, Pogba, and the ball in that little triangle. And he's gone off the back of two, and he's got there before the keeper. Like, there's not many people that would do those runs that deep. If it's higher up the pitch, on the halfway line, it's an easy run. You could all see the spacing behind, but in those condensed spaces, it's difficult for strikers to get in those little pockets. And the way to pass from Pogba is what they're paying him the money for.
What if you're a young striker and you want to make it in the game? You need to watch Cavani religiously, because his movement is brilliant. He always plays on the shoulder. And as a defender, it's the hardest thing to deal with when you've got a striker. Because if you have a target man who just plays up against him, right, this is going to be tough. You're going to have to fight it out. It's 1v1. But when you've got a striker like Cavani, who's always trying to play in between you all the time, am I marking him? Are you marking him? You've always got to watch him. And the moment the centre half looks at the player who's crossing the ball, Cavani's thinking, I'm off the back here. And then he gets off the back here, and then he gets in pockets. He gets across the front post. He's so hard to mark, and his movement's incredible. And it's been a great signing for Manchester United, and I think they should try and keep him. I really do. I just don't know if he wants to go back to South America.
I know that was the one that didn't get counted, but Eric Dyer's not a bad centre-half, and he's literally just looked at the ball for a split second, and he's gone in off the back of him. That's timing, that's wavelength, that's understanding what your midfielder's got at the ball. Because let's say it was a lesser midfielder, he might not have saw that run, but he's got an understanding with Pogba to do that. And the goal he scored, obviously with the header, was fantastic. And there's not a weakness in his game. I'd probably say pace, but he's not slow.
He's not slow.
Yeah,
no.
So there's not really a weakness. He's a complete forward. He can score with his head, both feet. He's a good goal scorer.
If he come and played in the Premier League 4 or 5 years ago when he was in his peak, we would be talking about one of the best strikers to ever play in the Premier League. I think we're getting him at the end of his of his best, but he's still producing, magical moments. But he's just going to be, maybe, it's not going to be for another 2 or 3 seasons. But as a striker, he is phenomenal. If you watch him, I'd love to have that. I wish they brought back player cam.
Yeah.
Where you could just sit and watch a player. Because if you love the game, you love how people play. And me, as a forward, as a midfielder, you want a forward who's always moving, always making your mind up for it. Greenwood knew when that ball comes to him, Fernandes, great bit of skill, nutmegs him, but Greenwood just knows, I'll put it in a space, Cavani's going to be there. And he's already on the move.
What about for Greenwood as well for that finish? Because when we focus on all the other players as well, Greenwood, who's kind of been in and out lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think it was tactically, his substitutions, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, were brilliant, I have to say. Way better than Jose's. And they come on, and this is the thing that annoys me with Spurs players, is they come on with no heart or desire to actually show the manager that they want to play. Greenwood comes on and wants to make something happen, and the ball was brilliant for the assist, but his goal, he took it great as well. And I don't know what is his weaker foot. I think if you push him, I think he says is his left foot. So I think the defender's thinking when he gets it, he's going to want to try and get on his left, but then he very easily can go on his right. So
it's poor defending,
bad defending from Reguilon, and he's not the best, and he's miles off him. You've got to get tight. In the end, you can back off, but you've got to get tight eventually. But when you've got a player who's both-footed and he can go either way, you don't know which way he's going to go. So, he's going to be a top player.
Pogba as well. Good game for him.
Yeah, listen, like Pogba again is a very good player. They've got to find a system and a place to get him in it though. I think that's what they're doing now, higher up on the left, because they're going to play with the two in midfield, Fred and McTominay or Matic, depending on the rotation. But they're going to play that. Fernandes is a given. He's the heartbeat of that team. It's how do you get Pogba in, because him and Fernandes they bounce off each other with their quality, their ball quality. You see they lend the ball to each other a lot. And Jamie will tell you, when you've got a player that you know you can trust, you're going to give it him. Your first thought is, right, I know Jamie's good with the ball. Let me give it to him. Maybe not so for giving it to you, Laura. You might give the ball away a bit. But you know what I mean? You look at it and you go, I know he'll look after it.
Trust Jamie over me.
Well, that was the
with a football.
That is, and it's a big thing as well. And you know, when you've got players where you can just bounce it around. And Manchester United, I mean, I was really impressed with them, the way they moved it, and it wasn't just that, like, it was pass with intent. Everything they did was bang, you know, sticking it into people, off Cavani, set, through, out, and everything they did. And in the end, the last 6 minutes, where you're thinking Spurs, right, we should be really trying to go gung-ho at Man United, they just popped the ball around. They were just lending it to each other, moving it around, and I was looking at thinking, Spurs can't get near him. They're taking the mick.